Hello, this is me again. Wanted to do a video today because I had a situation unfold on Facebook today on our Ukaipa bulletin page. And it was educational to me. It made me realize that we still have a long way to go in our community and in our society in understanding homelessness and the complexities of the problem and the solution. Ellie, my sidekick, is in here with me again today, of course. I'm going to grab my iPad real quick here as I left it. I had a woman who was actually a member of the Faces of Ukaipa post some pretty interesting things. I'll just read you it real quick. It says, I know Mary gives the addicts that live at the shopping center where my biz was food, toiletries, clothes, candy, etc. They're homeless. And then she talked about some other stuff, and then she went on to say, I went to my work, all of their trash left behind, notice most of which Mary gave to them. So sad. They don't need to be in public light. It's not safe for anyone. I know you girls feel you are helping mankind by catering to these addicts, but you aren't doing them any good. They have to want treatment to find it. Which, they have to find treatment to find it. And then she posted this picture here of in front of her business. There's a bunch of just junk, 2-liter bottle and ramen noodles and gummy bears or something. It's kind of hard to see. First of all, we don't give out ramen noodles because how would a homeless person boil water, and how would a drug addict boil water? Second of all, they could eat it dry, I guess, but most homeless and drug addicts have terrible teeth if they have teeth at all. So they're gonna gum the ramen noodles? Like, that doesn't seem very efficient or effective or logical. So clearly she thinks that only the homeless and only the drug addicts litter. Couldn't possibly be anybody who had a home, or teenagers, or anybody else in the community could litter or be a problem or a nuisance. But it brings up an interesting subject, Ellie Bear, settle down, that people think that when we give them food and clothing that it enables them. I hear that a lot, the enable word. It's one of my favorites. And it makes them want to stay on the street because then they are comfortable. Well, I don't know a single person that's comfortable at all. And I don't know anybody that's ever told me, oh, I take it back. I've had 2 people tell me that they want to be on the street. One is a veteran, and he's pretty messed up, and we call him the walker. And he walks up and down the street, and he doesn't want anything from anyone. You barely even notice him, and he just lives off the grid because that's what he can handle. And the other one is a woman, and she can't handle responsibility or normal life. Those are the only 2 that want to be on the street that I've ever met in the 1.5 years that I've been doing this. So we don't make them comfortable. Giving them things, giving them stuff, isn't so much about giving them stuff. I mean, it's important if they're cold to give them something warm to wear or a blanket. If they're hungry, we want to give them food so that they live. I don't know, like crazy concept. But what it actually accomplishes is it's contacts. It's building relationships and building trust. And those relationships and that trust build up over time is what allows us to have those conversations about them getting off the street or getting into a rehab or whatever their situation may be. That opens the door for those conversations. It opens the door for when they're ready to get off the street, that they know who they can go to get help, and they know that they're going to get help because we've been there for them whenever we said we were going to be there for them for months or a year or however long it takes. So it's much more than giving them stuff. It's about the end game. Like, there's a longer end game in sight. And I think it's easy for us to want to fear something that we don't understand, something that's different from us. The homeless are different from us. The addicts are different from us. We don't get them, and so we try and vilify them in a way. Like we need an enemy, and they're an easy, quick enemy that can't talk back. The homeless aren't on Facebook saying, I didn't do that. So it's easy just to place blame on them because they can't fight back. They don't have a voice. And we want to believe that it's them that are doing the bad things, which a lot of times I admit that they are, and we're working on that. But it's a process, and usually when they're doing things they're not supposed to, they're trying to survive. You know, I got a lot of comments today out and about, you know, homeless are breaking into this church and sleeping in it. And we had to take out 4 bags of garbage. Well, they shouldn't be leaving trash and garbage. I agree with that. Like, there's no part of me that says, like, yay, that's okay. But the other side of me says, they're trying to survive. Like, it's cold at night. It's wet at night. They want to find shelter, and we have no shelter. We have no places for them to stay. So in lieu of housing that they're legally allowed to be in, they're going to find other places. Like, they're going to do it. And so if we don't provide the services and the support and the stuff on that side of it, they're going to find their own avenues to survive. And that means breaking into abandoned buildings. That means loitering on properties. That means setting up tents on private property or whatever it may be, because they're trying to survive. And no, I don't condone them trespassing or breaking in or littering or leaving needles around or any of those things. I don't want that as much as anybody else doesn't want that. I want my city to be beautiful. I want my property value, because we own a home, to be high. I want businesses to be able to come in. I don't want people to have to worry about panhandling and being harassed coming in and out of stores or restaurants or fast food drive-thrus. Like, I don't want any of those things either. But it's not starve them out, drive them out, freeze them out, ship them out, whatever the quick fixes are that people say, or lock them up. You got to think about the long game. Those are temporary things that aren't solutions. We lock them up, we arrest them for something, they're going to be out in a day to 3 days. Because California has passed these ridiculous laws the last few elections, because people don't read anything past the byline, the tagline, or whatever it is. And so we release criminals by the thousands and thousands and thousands, because our jails and our prisons are overpopulated. So locking them up isn't a solution. Shipping them to San Bernardino is illegal. Other cities have done it, and they've been caught, and now they have really big lawsuits that they've lost, and they've had to pay out. So shipping them out isn't an option. It isn't legal. Harassing them, there's a lot of harassment going on. It's not legal. Unless they're doing something illegal, they can't be harassed. They're entitled to the same public places as the rest of us. They're allowed to the same rights and privileges and protections as the rest of us. Even if we don't like it. That's what America is. Or was, or I hope still is. And so those are things like we have to keep in mind as we think about the homeless situation. We have to try and think about the long end game, not the immediate, I'm angry, I'm afraid, I'm scared stuff. So yes, we give clothing and we give food every week, because people are hungry, people need clothing, people need blankets, people need toiletries for hygiene. And we're going to continue to do so, because that opens the doors in other ways for us to get them off the street. And we've proven that. Faces of Yucaipa has proven it. A small group of people that's grown and grown and grown to over almost 800 people now. And we give. And through that giving and those relationships and that trust, we've gotten 24 people, men, women, veterans, and children off the street in a year and a half. So clearly it works, and not everybody's going to be happy about it or agree with it, and they're entitled to their opinion, but I'm trying to help educate the community as a whole that what we're doing is effective, it does work, It works very well. I wish we could get everybody off the street, but ultimately it's up to them. But we do it one person at a time as we can, and it's working. It's really working. So that's why we give food and clothing and stuff. We don't give out ramen noodles because that's absurd and defies logic. We don't give out candy because what's candy gonna do? Like, they need nutrition. They don't eat fruits and vegetables. They don't get a lot of like good meat. Like, we're trying to give them stuff that will sustain their bodies, proteins, carbs, things of that nature, not gummy bears and ramen that they can't eat. So that's my little video for the day, my little rant, if you will. So please keep in mind the end game, the long game, because that's what's really important. Like, we're talking about people's lives, actual lives that we're making better and changing, which is awesome. It's an awesome, awesome gift. I think sometimes we get more out of it than they do, which makes you feel kind of selfish in a way, but it's kind of cool. So that's my rant. So thanks for listening, and hope you have a good night. Thank you, Ukaipa. Merry Winter, Faces of the Ukaipa. Faces of the Ukaipa. Faces of Ukaipa. Signing off.